right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're watching us from. As you've been alerted before, today is the last Saturday in the month of October. You already know that October every year is used to celebrate Black History Month, and we are right here in Renfrewshire. And of course, you've got the old museum that is under renovation. And today we will be following the trail, Discover Africa Trail. There are some about 11 African countries, which has been distributed into 11 businesses here in Paisley, the Paisley Business Districts. We'll be checking them. You might think you know much about countries of Africa, but we're going to test you today. And of course, right here with me, I've got the Reggie Bills. That's the one of the organizers of the tour. You're from which organization?
I'm from School of African Cultures, a project that is into Pachedu. I'm the project coordinator of School of African Cultures within Pachedu.
Okay.
Founder of School of African Cultures.
Okay, brilliant. So, in fact, are we going to see today? Maybe just one. I mean, maybe something you've asked people and people have struggled to know about Africa. Maybe one.
Yes, maybe I would ask you if you know in which country of Africa the Nile got his source.
And that's River Nile.
River Nile, yes. I may ask you as well where Victoria Falls is. Victoria Falls.
Okay, Victoria Falls. Yeah.
Yes.
So keep that one in mind and drop us a message. Of course, we are also here with Olu, all the way from London. He's come to celebrate Black History Month with us. And of course, where's Nathan? Nathan is here with us as well. Nathan has said that he's so sure that he will get all the questions. And we've got some leaflets here, which is, you know, after going through the trail, people are required to answer some questions here, just for them to be able to remember some of the facts they've read, and putting that in, and then entering it into a prize draw. So we're kicking off. Drop us your comments or any question that you might want to go right on as we go through this trip. So, where's the first place we are getting to? So, yes.
Kadosi's Espresso Bar.
So, Kadosi's Espresso Bar. That is Kadosi's Espresso Bar, right in front of Paisley Museum. That's our first point of call. And Nathan will be taking us on because this is the first one. And what do you have then, Nathan?
Which country do you have here? Okay.
That is Republic of Congo. And we've got two Congos, isn't it?
Yes, but this one is Republic of Congo. It's not the Democratic Republic.
Okay,
of Congo.
So for those who don't know, we have Republic of Congo. Then we have Democratic Republic of Congo, which is called DRC.
Yes, it used to be Zaire. And for those who know Mobutu,
Mobutu
he has
Sese
been
Seko.
like for more than 35 years the president of DRC, which was Zaire.
Okay.
This time, yes.
So, right, the first one we're having here is Republic of Congo. So, what do we have here, Nathan?
So, the Republic of Congo is situated in central of Africa on the equator. Yes. Size 300,042 kilometers squared. Capital city Brazzaville. Brazzaville. Population 5.2 million people.
More than 200, but counts four main ethnic groups: Bakongo,
Bakongo, Ndoshi, Sanga,
Sanga, and
Tiki. So this is
Teke.
the ethnic groups, huh? And how many languages do we have there?
About 200 corresponding various tribes, but the official languages are Lingala and
Kikongo.
Kikongo, besides French.
Yes. So here we have one historical interest. Which one is it? It's home to
Multiple kingdoms before constant
colonization.
Teke kingdoms, Congo Kingdom, and Langongo Kingdom. Natural resources: seventh producer of oil, gas, and arable lands. Timbers, coppers, diamond, gold. Highlights: Congo rainforest is the second biggest rainforest in the world after the Amazon. Congo River is the deepest river in the world and the second largest after the Amazon River.
Okay, that's great. So you see the highlight, Congo rainforest is the second biggest rainforest in the world after the Amazon. How many people know that? And of course, also Congo River is the deepest river in the world and the second largest after Amazon River. Second is the deepest river in the world.
And when you think Amazon, right away you have to think Congo because they are kind of twins.
They share some things together. Okay, that's great. So thank you, Nathan.
So what we have to do is you write down Republic of Congo just beside
Kadosi's Espresso Bar.
Yes.
So that's when you are filling the entry form.
And then you have a question here. Home to second rainforest after the Amazon. It's Republic of Congo.
It will be the Republic of Congo. So
once we have pens,
we will get that done. Yes. Okay. So we are heading to the next one.
Yes.
So just follow us. I hope you are taking note of that. As part of the Black History Month 2021, this event was put together. Okay, we've got another one here. And where are we? We are right here in a Nomad's Coffee. Nomad's Coffee Shop. That's where we are in. And let's see which country is here.
Maybe
you can help us with
help
this.
Us with this one. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So, and that is which country?
Uganda. This is Uganda. Location is east of Africa.
Okay.
And the size is 241.38 kilometers square, 2.4 times the size of Scotland. The capital city is Kampala, and the population is 384 people. Ethnic groups, there are 56 tribes, each tribe having its own language: Buganda, Lango, Lugbara, Kakwa. Languages, there are 41 languages. Luganda, Swahili, so Rukayo, Kore, Lusoga. One historical interest: Buganda is the largest kingdom to date. The first president, Edward Mutesa, was king of Buganda. Natural resources: copper, tungsten, columbite tantalite, cobalt, gold, iron ore, iron, Lake Victoria.
That's Uganda. Uh, okay. We went off. So right. So the one we've checked now is just Uganda, which is the source of River Nile. Yeah,
Nomad's coffee.
and it's not much coffee.
They say that they have a very nice tea.
Yes. So you drop in here at Nomad's Coffee to have a copper.
Yeah.
So, and that is Uganda, the source of River Nile. Yeah.
I would have never thought that River Nile came from
Uganda.
Yeah.
Most people, I know that most people, when you talk about River Nile, they talk about Egypt.
Egypt and countries around Egypt.
So,
not this far.
But not this far. So, and of course, we seem to have a situation in Africa where we have so many tribes within one country.
Yes.
And also languages, because I think with each tribes, you have like corresponding languages. Yeah. So our next point of call. Okay. Leisureland.
Yes.
Leisureland. Yeah, so those are sports in Paisley. We're in Paisley. Of course, right down the road, right down that road is the UWS,
yes.
University of West Scotland. And right here we are in Leisureland. And here in Leisureland, we have another African country that is on display. And so, what do we have here?
So here we have Sierra Leone. It's a country located in West Africa, 71,400 square kilometer. It's similar to Ireland. The capital city is Freetown. And the Freetown was the place where ex-slaves settled after their freedom. The population, 7,813,000. Ethnic group, about 16. And each ethnic group, obviously, like everywhere in Africa, they have their language. But the main languages are Mende and Timni, being the main ethnic group. And the language they speak there, all of them, they speak Creole. It's a common language. And then they have Mande and Temni as predominant languages. One historical interest, all ex-African American slaves, after gaining their freedom, they settled in Sierra Leone. Then it was called Province of Freedom. Rich natural resources, obviously diamond. If you remember the movie Blood Diamond, yeah, it comes from there. Yeah, gold, iron, coltan, platinum, zircon, bauxite, titanium, and rutile. Yes, highlight something in common with Scotland. So major Scots personalities were in the slavery abolition movement, including Zachariah Macaulay, who became governor of Sierra Leone when people in slavery had been freed in 1787. So a Scottish guy has been governor of Sierra Leone. Actually, he was an abolitionist.
Okay. And quite interesting fact that you have a population of Sierra Leone at 7 million. That's almost like the population of Scotland.
Yes. It's like the Congo
That's
as well. Oh,
Okay, so that is Nation. They've also got like tea and bar around this place. Remember, we're following the African Trail. Um, then we'll be going to the next show. Okay, let's go. So, and that is the
we're going to go to
High Street.
our
And for
only
those of you that are from Africa, that are here, or people that are living in Paisley, and you don't know where to get what, now we are going somewhere now, which you should be interested about. Okay, where are we? So we have Edo Africa, this Africa shop right here in Paisley. That is Edo Africa. And of course, here you can see it already. Have your Mera chicken, Indomie noodles, and you have bags of rice and jam flour and stuff. So, what you do, and of course, also you can send money to Ghana here. Got Jam Radio advertisement on there. And we'll just peep into here because I think the network do have a bit of issues around here, but you can see the inside. That is Adam Afro Caribbean Food Shop right here in Paisley, just on the high streets. So that means if you are a student and you are in UWS, that's University of West Auckland, or you live in Paisley or any part of Renfrewshire, you can come straight to the high street here. Your African food stores that is clearly loaded here. Okay, can we move that one here? I think we used to have network. Yes, you can pull it. I was the one that put it there. Oh look, let me move the sellotape. Right. So what we have here, right. So you have right on here. That is which country? That is Nigeria. Right.
Nigeria.
Okay. Say Nigeria, the giant of Africa. But people are saying that Nigeria needs to live up to its expectations. Africa is waiting for Nigeria to get back up. Okay, so what facts do we have?
So location is 300 and location is West Africa.
Yep.
Size is 3,556 1,700 square meter, 4 times the size of the UK, over 10 times the size of Scotland. Capital city is Abuja. And in population, over 200 million, most populous black nation, 7th most populous nation in the world, over 3 times size of the population of UK, over 30 times the population of Scotland. Ethnic groups, over 250 ethnic groups. 3 prominent ones are Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. Languages, over 200 languages. Prominent ones are Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. One historical interest: the ancient walls of Benin, over 2 times length of Great Wall of length of Great Wall of China, world's largest earthwork carried out before the mechanical era, Guinness Book in 1974. Natural resources, gold, bitumen, iron ore, coal, petroleum, limestone, salt, and tin, and columbite. Highlight with respect to Scotland, Nigerian Adebayo Ogunlesi Company, GIP, bought Gatwick Airport in England, Edinburgh Airport in Scotland, and London City Airport in England. So Nigerians are doing it big.
So that's it. I mean, most people do not know that an Africa owns like three major airports in UK, and that's including the Edinburgh Airport here in Scotland, and of course the two other airports down south, the Gatwick and City Airport. So
actually, when I read this fact, I had to go and check. I don't like told me about it, but I had to go and check and just find out if it's true.
make sure
If
that
what
it's true.
Wikipedia is saying is true, it means that it's true.
Yeah, great. And of course, also you
We're
see,
proud of our African.
great. You see people talk so
Businessmen.
much about the Great Wall of China, but one of the facts here is that the ancient wall of Benin, is over 2 times the length of the Great Wall of China. So you really want to look at it. Are we not probably who should be responsible? Is it that Nigerians are not promoting their heritage, or some other countries are trying to lower the importance of the heritage around that sector down?
I think it's both. I'm going to give you the example of the Congo.
Okay.
I went to on holiday like 3 years ago. There was a suburb where you know the ex-military used to live.
Yeah.
It was kind of a camp with beautiful houses, colonial beautiful houses.
Yeah.
And then when I went back 4 years ago, I found that all those houses have been destroyed. Not even one to witness that era. So in the favor of great buildings with glass, made with glass. So I think we are responsible as well, not preserving or not showcasing our heritage.
Okay, that's great. Also this year, I think between last year and this year, there have been quite so much talk about some artifacts and bronzes and heritages that were carted away from Africa, that they are being returned back. So I think since now there seems to be like a sort of value being placed on things of heritage, maybe we'll get back up to do what we should do. So thank you very much. That is Adam Afro Caribbean Food Shop in Paisley. Remember, the forms are there, so you need to keep filling that form, because you're going to enter that one into a prize draw, and then we'll be heading to the next shop. Right. So for people that have not been to Paisley, especially, that is Paisley. That's the street. And you also need to check the history of Paisley. Paisley have been sort of active. They've had people who've taken part in freedom fights. Of course, even freedom of Scotland from the United Kingdom. So, but we're heading to the next shop. Okay, we're waiting on our guest. Got are they in the shop? Huh? Oh. Right. So far so good. Listen, have you learned something new?
I don't, not anything new.
Yes, but is there something you didn't know before that you now picked up?
That
Hey, how are you? Now, come here. Have you done the African Trail?
what is that?
Have you done the African Trail?
Why is it live?
Which is in your first.
Why is it
We're doing the African Trail tour.
live?
And we've been to you know the African Trail, this one?
Why is it live though?
Yeah?
Why is it live?
Because we're doing the trail, Discover Africa Trail. So come on, Nathan. So is it just like refreshing some of the things you've known before? Hmm?
It refreshed my memory.
Just refreshing your knowledge, which is quite good. So where's the next show?
The next stop will be Test and Co.
Test.
Test Co. No, they call it Test and C.
Okay. All right. So we're heading to that. So now this scheme,
Yes.
I mean, how did you come about it? Why was it developed? I mean, we could say that yes, we want people to know about Africa, but then there are other projects.
Yes,
that
here
could be
in
done.
Renfrewshire, we have a couple of organizations which are there to support African people. We have
Yes.
Pachedu, we have Action for Culture and Ethics, we have School of African Cultures. We all do different things. We also have West Rec,
Yes.
we have PRIM, and we all do different things. But when it comes to supporting people, we come together and then provide our services. So
Right.
during this October, we thought that we would try and get people to know more about Africa.
Okay.
Mainly, this myth about how many countries are in Africa. People, they usually think that Africa is one country, when actually it's a continent with multiple countries. We thought, okay, that would be a tester, just to also to show to people that African people are living here in Renfrewshire. Because we've noticed that most of the time it's kind of is it ignored or just pretending that we are not around.
Right.
Anyway, that's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's a little story about it.
So this the one for this year, would that be the first time this is taking place?
Yes, this is the first. We went to talk to Paisley first because they've done a lot of trails around Paisley.
Okay.
When we've noticed this idea, we thought, why not do it for Africa as well?
so that each country will be in one business, and then we will go around and discover about countries. We chose only 11 countries because we have the School of African Cultures, as said earlier, and we 11 countries of Africa are represented in the School of African Culture. So we thought, why not start?
Okay, to start with that.
Yes.
And then it will, I mean, this will be like a pilot project.
Yes.
And then subsequent years will increase. Then, okay, before we get to the next shot, tell us about the School of African Culture, because since the representations of Africans kids, I believe, in that organization is the starting point for this scheme. Yes. So, School of African Cultures, what is it about? Who are the people involved?
Actually, School of African Cultures all started in my kitchen because my son, each time he came from school, and I mean, he's sitting on the table while I'm making dinner, he would start asking me questions about Africa. And, you know, at 3:30, you don't feel like explaining things about Africa. So I thought we should have a platform where we all come and talk about Africa, teach them about Africa. It's not like there are lessons, but what we hope is to kind of get them to explore, to feel, to think about Africa from time to time, and to be proud of their identity. So what do? Basically, we can invite some African people like yourself. You came, I think, once, twice, or three times to present some of the kingdoms. So last year we worked more about ancient African civilization. Yes. And this year what is happening is we wanted children, young people, to discover by themselves their own country. So they're coming to present, they do research about their own country, and then they make a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, and they present to others. So this helps them to develop their presentation skills, also to be using IT better, and also to gain confidence in themselves. I mean, this is basically what we do.
So what ages are the children?
The age range is between 5 and 14.
Okay.
Yes, those who are 14, what we're trying to do is to those who are 14, what we're trying to do is to get them to volunteer in the organization.
So they do research about Africa or something, and then they present it, and they stand like role models.
Their own country,
yes, as role models for the younger ones.
Yes.
Okay.
And I mean, School of African Cultures started like.
Into your hand.
Yes, so School of African Culture started 3 years ago. It was a bit before the pandemic.
Okay.
Yes, and so we're still young in the area. We work in a very close partnership with Pachedu.
Okay.
Yes, Pachedu. What Pachedu does is mainly to get people of ethnic community. I mean, to build their capacity so that they can participate in the community where they are.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, great. So if people want to get in touch with School of African Cultures, what's the best contact?
Our Facebook.
Okay.
School of African Cultures. And on my Facebook, you're going to find my number, phone number. Then you can contact me through Messenger.
Right. Okay, that's great. And of course, Paisley is rocking as well. You can see right at my back. What's going on there? So, is that the next one? Brill. Yes. Okay, we are the Brill. We're hoping that the
And you know,
network will be fine here. And which country do we have right on here? Okay, this is Kenya.
yeah. So Kenya is in the east of Africa.
Right.
380,667 kilometers square. The capital city is Nairobi. Population 52,057,000 people. Ethnic groups about 160, and the main ethnic groups are Kikuyu, Luya, Kalenjin, Luo, Kamba, and Kenya is home to Maasai group. Yes, languages about 68 languages, and Swahili is the official language beside English. So historical interest, Kenya, listen to this, is home to running and marathon world records. And one of them was Abebe Bikila. In Rome in 1960, he won the Olympic marathon running barefoot, and he got a gold medal. Natural resources,
Limestone, soda, ash, salt, gemstones, phosphor, zinc, and wildlife. And highlights with respect to Scotland would be was safari leading destination, home to close encounter with the big five. The the five most difficult animals to on land to hunt: lion, elephant, buffalo, black and white rhinoceros, leopard. Also home to cheetah, the fastest moving animal in the land.
I just feel like everything is in Africa.
Yes.
No, I mean, am I lying?
I think life is in Africa
Life
as
is
well. So,
when you look at food as well,
yes.
those food that they call, rich food, food for your health. You find them in Africa or in the warm countries like countries in Africa.
So, I mean, from what we've seen so far, where's the next place? So, from what we've seen so far, and which I believe is across Africa, yeah, we've got massive natural resources. So, let me come to you, Olu. Yeah. So we have natural resources almost in all countries of Africa, all the countries. Now, how do we now come about the level of poverty that we are seeing in Africa?
Uh, level of poverty that we see in Africa is I don't know why African countries are poor, but I think it's also very down to the leadership of African countries. That's one aspect of because by the time we talk about all these mineral resources being available in these countries and they are being extracted and sold out, the revenue coming into the country from that alone, because if you look at the Middle Eastern countries, the likes of Saudi Arabia, they've got all these mineral resources as well. Even even the people, the workers don't pay taxes. So you can't say because there are no taxes, that's why there's no money to fund the government or to run the country. They don't pay taxes. But we have these resources and it's not being used to develop the country. So the leadership, politicians, things there's a lot of corruption in Africa. And that by the time someone gets into power, they only think about themselves and themselves alone, and they don't go about looking to bring economic programs that can actually change the lives of the citizens. You talk about let's talk about the UK where we are.
Yeah.
The UK, even though if you fall on hard time, you are working or something happens to you, there are many safety nets available for you to fall back on. Like the benefits, if you're looking for a job, they pay you some certain amount of money. There are so many programs to help you. There's the job centers where you can go looking for jobs to get you back onto your feet. Talks of that. I mean, so I think the infrastructure needs to be provided by the government, and people then can begin to invest into the economy. You have people that are very, very wealthy that they rather put their money outside of the country because the inflation rate in Nigeria or in African countries is just astronomical. If you put £1 million, what £1 million or $1 million can buy you in Africa today will not be able to buy you that in next year. Yeah, so there's a lot of angles to the economic angle, the political angle, the governance, and that you can actually think about why Africa has not gotten it right. Do we not have the talent? We got the people, we've got the resources. Africa is home to the youngest population on earth, and these people can be put into work to be generating revenue for the countries and for businesses as well. We've got people that are beginning to think about, are even coming from West Africa, coming out of Africa or from Europe or from North America to come out. The likes of Shell, Chevron, these oil companies, they come there, they do business there, they extract these things, and they're benefiting from that. Why is it that we don't have African-dominated countries? I mean, African countries that are doing those. Look at Russia, for example. They've got Gazprom that are doing the oil and gas. Even in Saudi Arabia, they've got Saudi Aramco that is doing oil and gas. Before you can actually do it, before any external company can come in, they must first go to Saudi Aramco. So why don't we have that in Nigeria? Why don't we have that in Congo? Why don't we have that in Republic of Congo? It's very ludicrous.
Right. So sad, but we hope that the leaders and of course the younger generation that are coming up into government as well will be able to address it. With the level of natural resources that Africa has, I mean, we should be able to actually fund education, free education for all our children, free health for all our children, even those people that are working. I mean, we should have a sort of a high threshold before they will even ever start paying taxes. Yeah. If those things are done properly, if we have the right governments in place.
Something I read just for the Congo, I got to say where I read it quite a while, that with the resources we have, with the revenue we have, yeah, because we are only in the Congo, we are only 5,000. 5 million. Yes. So each citizen could get an allowance monthly, and they wouldn't even have to pay any rent. Yes. And then still, Congo would prosper.
That's it.
So it's catastrophic.
Well, that's part of the reason for this trail, for us to know about Africa, what's on there, both for, especially when we even talk about people that are mostly from Africa. Even you see some adults, they don't know anything about Africa. Okay. So talk less of the children that are growing here. So, and that's one of the reasons why this is coming up, to have this scheme where people can know, first of all, that Africa is not just a country, but 54 different countries, multiple tribes and languages in each, which of course they have their own cultural values in each country, and of course this massive deposit of natural resources, and of course human resources as well, which should be a blessing to Africa. So we are right here in the coffee house, isn't it?
The Grumpy Monkey.
All right. So, and which country do we have here?
We have Malawi. It's in southern of Africa. The size is 118,484 kilometers square. Yes. A capital city, Lilongwe. Population
18,000.
18
18 million. Oh, 18 million.
18.60.
60,
That's
yeah.
it?
Okay. It's 3 times the Scottish population. Yes. 10 major ethnic groups: Shiwa, Nyanga, Lomwe, Yao, Ngoni, Tuluka, and the main language, the national language is Shishewa, beside English, which is the official language. So obviously, as in most of the countries, each language corresponds to a tribe. So the historical interest, 2 similarities with Scotland. The second town is called Blantyre. It's named after the founder.
Scottish settlers in 1876.
Yes. So the same way that there is a town here called Blantyre in Scotland, there is also a town Blantyre in Malawi.
Right.
Yes. Natural resources: bauxite, coal, limestone, graphite.
Okay.
And the highlights: Lake Malawi, of its name Nyasa, is a UNESCO
World Heritage Site. Yes.
as it is home to more species of fish than any other lake on the planet.
Right. I mean, that's a good one. Plenty fish.
But
so
I'm sure Malawians are dying of hunger.
yeah, I mean, that's actually the challenge we're talking about, where Africa has this massive, I mean, and of course, UNESCO may want to preserve heritage centers, which is great, which is good. But at times, you really have to look at what are the needs of the people in that area. And I think there was an issue with, I've forgotten the name of the country, where the UNESCO wanted to have a World Heritage Center. But then the president of that African country just simply said, listen, our people need light, and we can only generate light from that dam. So we need, I mean, it was almost causing an issue internationally between the president saying this, I need to provide my people with light, because if they have light, then they will be able to go into business, production, and then hand a living. While UNESCO was more concerned about preserving the heritage sites. So I don't have full details about the one here in Malawi, but because if we have that massive pool of species of fishes and gold, and then the people are poor, then that needs to be looked at. And I will come to you now as we move to the next place. Do you think that the influence from some countries like Europe, whether they are former colonial masters of those countries and go, do you think that that influence is what is creating some of the issues we have in Africa today?
Yes, I really think what is happening is, when you look at the educational curriculum in Africa,
yes,
it's still the colonial. I mean, what the Western countries left. So it's based onto the idea that everything that comes from the West is good, and anything that is from Africa is bad or is second best.
Right.
So when we are in education, we have this idea mainly that, the education where we are is not good enough. But if I go to Europe and I get a diploma from there, a qualification from there, it means that, yeah, I'm the right person, that I'm educated enough to the right norms. Whereas I think what should development will start by African people acknowledging and liking and embracing
their identity, embracing their culture, their heritage, then they will be proud enough to want and make the best of who they are.
Yes. And especially when it comes to the influence today, to like let's say for instance, UK, US, France, their influence on Africa.
Oh,
and
this is
is that part of what? Because if we have these massive resources, and then the people are still poor.
What I know is the ecosystem, the economical system that is in place.
Okay.
Yes, the economical system that is in place is meant to be said that African countries are poor.
Right. And some countries have been forced, so to say, to take loan from IMF, and where part of the condition for releasing funds to them will be for them to we say to deregulate or so, where you now have to devalue their currency, where you now have
so they will go.
The things are not costing so much that because when they devalue the currency, it's not that they are giving people more money to meet their basic needs. So, like, okay, we are right here. The next point of call is where are we? Test and call. Test and call.
And see.
Test and see. Apologies. And what we have here is Nathan. Do you want to come and help us here?
I will help you. Don't worry.
So, what do we have here?
Cameroon, location Central Africa, 455,442 kilometers square. Capital city Yaoundé. Population 25.88 million. More than 240 tribes. The main tribes: Bieng, Balaki, Beti, Ambassa, Kirdi, Fulna, and Dula. Languages: as many languages as the number of tribes. Note: Cameroon is like Canada. It is a bilingual country with French and English as official languages. One historical interest: Cameroon gets its name from Portuguese explorers River Shrimps, Rios dos Camaros. Cameroon is home to the biggest frog, weighing as much as a cat, the Goliath. Natural resources: oil, gas, mineral ores, species of timber, agriculture products, coffee, cotton, coca, mazin,
and
cassava.
Right.
Highlights: the
Indomitable
Lions is the most second successful football team in Africa after Egypt. Samuel Eto'o, the Cameroon striker, played for Barcelona.
Wow, great. Thank you very much, Nathan. Now, there's one question I want to ask you. You read right on the Cameroon is bilingual. That is, they have English and French. They speak English and French as their national language.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, as their official language, here in Scotland or UK generally, they speak English as their national language, right?
Yes.
And it's because they are English, right? In Scotland, you have the Scottish, you have the Wales, but then it's one of their languages, one of the nations that form Scotland, that form UK. One of the nations, they are using the language of one of them generally. And it's got relationship dating to many years. I mean, don't you think that in most African countries where they use English or French, they should actually be using their own language or one of the languages of the tribes?
Yes.
You think that should be the case and not us speaking another language that we that none of our tribe speaks?
The first option.
Okay, so that is it. It's the first option. Olu,
Yeah.
isn't it? They will say that if they lost their language, right, they've lost value. And one thing we've seen across all these places that we've checked now is this issue about language. For instance, let's take Nigeria. We have the three. I mean, we've got lots of languages. We've got about over 200. But there's the basic three that are used: Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa. But then for our national language, which we use to communicate, there's none of them. None of them is speak as a national language. So do you think that to an extent has a sort of a damaging impact on our culture as a people?
Yeah, obviously. In the race to be an international country, or to be acceptable to the rest of the world, we want to present ourselves as these people that can assimilate. There's nothing wrong with assimilation, but you've got China. China now is you have to, if you want to do any business with China, you have to speak Mandarin. Even though Hong Kong as well was a British colony, in Hong Kong they still speak their own Mandarin language. Even though it's so, they never lost the value of their heritage. And we in Africa, even though we were colonized, I think as soon as we got independence, it's a matter of rebuilding ourselves and bringing back. There's no, if we are going to have three national languages, say Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba, let us have it. There's no point saying, okay, let's have just one. No, we should have three. If that is the basis of what the country is actually based on. So that's where. So we shouldn't be ashamed of who we are. And I think that's the problem that we have in Africa, that we and what Ms. Hughes was saying earlier, that this problem about people wanting to say that, okay, I've got a diploma from France, and that makes me special, and that makes me qualified, and we don't have value for what we have. That's a big problem, and that's why many of our youth will rather want to leave Africa to go to Canada, to go to Europe, North America, because they believe that is where those are the best countries in the world. But if what made them the best country is because they put value on what they have. And if we don't put value on what we have, nobody is going to celebrate us, and nobody is going to value it for us. So that's the problem.
Okay.
Talking of language,
yes.
I think you're the one who told me about, even in my country, we used to learn our language, our tribal language, or our national language at school.
Yes.
But then it's been removed. And you told me, I think one of your governors wanted Chinese to be taught in school instead of Yoruba.
Yes. And you really want that. Then I think both of us met one of our brothers here who was in University of Western Scotland, and he was actually researching into the use of cultural language to teach students or pupils, and they found out that when you use the people's own cultural language to teach them, they understand better and they do much more better in the higher education. And I believe some of these research results are out there. Now, why is it difficult? Because we find out that most of the politicians in Africa, a good number of them are well traveled. They come into the UK, they go into the other countries. We believe they see all these things. So these two questions that I'm going to throw to the two of you, anyone that will answer it. So the first one is, why are these politicians not picking up from these results to go back home and domesticate it for use in their own countries? That's the first one. The second one is about language. We know these things have been on for years, but can we still bring it back?
I'm going to answer the second question.
The second question.
Yes,
Okay?
we can still bring it back.
Okay.
We can still bring it back. But we have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe in our future. We have to have a common vision. We have to come together and have a plan for the development of Africa all together.
Okay, thank you. So,
And the
why
first
are
question
these people, they see,
is
they hear, but they are not taking those things back home to domesticate it for the good of their own people?
it's politics really, and it's also due to what we were talking about earlier, whereby some people get into power and we don't think about governance. They only think about enriching their own pockets, and their vested interest as well from people that are in the country at the moment. Or for example, let's talk about Nigeria, for example. We have electricity problem, and we've got people that are selling petrol. We've got people that are selling diesel. We've got people that are selling electrical generators. If we were to start bring about power stability in the entire country, people selling generators will go out of business. And those kind of people will be the ones lobbying governments, governors, politicians that you cannot bring this idea. If you want to go by always any means possible to bring the ideas you've seen abroad into the country, they will look to eliminate you. So, and there are people that will be telling you, you cannot do this, you cannot do this, so I beg. They'll be like, there are lots of people that will suffer. So we are okay the way we are. Let us just be going on. People benefiting from the poverty or from the way things are, that are vested interest, that are benefiting from it the way it is. So it's just not, it's not that some people don't want to do it, but by the time you get there, you see that there are some people that are in power that don't want things to change, and they're in position they don't want it to change. And those are the people that we need strong governments or probably strong politicians that will say, no, this has to stop. You have to think about the future. You have to think about the good of everybody, not just a few people.
Let's go in at this.
So this is blank.
Okay, this is blend. You can turn that one.
Coffee.
Okay, so which country do we have here?
Republic Democratic of Congo.
Okay, that's the second Congo. That's the former Zaire.
Yes, and this has been presented by Chloe and Noah. They are from Republic Democratic of Congo and from the School of African Cultures. Location, it's in Central of Africa, and the size is 2,344,858 kilometers square. Capital city Kinshasa, population 86,079,000. Yes, okay. Ethnic group more than 200, mostly Bantu. So 200 mostly Bantu, majority were powerful kingdoms before European arrival. The Congo Kingdom, Teke, Luba, Pende,
Yaka, Lunda, Songe, Tetela, and Kuba. 4 national languages, Kikongo, Lingala, Swahili, and Chiluba, with French as the official language. Each tribe also has its own language. So the historical interests, we don't have it here, but anyway, I can.
That's highlights.
Oh yeah. So Republic Democratic of Congo is one of the most resource-rich country on the planet, with an abundance of all the minerals used in electronics, coltan, tantalum, tungsten.
Now, so that's DRC, where, listen, like I was saying earlier, that you know that like one of the minerals we have in Africa, the aeroplane can't work without that mineral. The electrical, the laptops, the mobile phones, they can't work with that mineral, and that is what you have in DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. So, and the issue which we've been discussing also is that if Africa has so much, because it's just like, let's say we try to convert them from mineral to money, that means Africa has loads of pounds, but then the people are living in poverty. So that would be like a sort of a challenge for would we say the younger generation?
Yeah, I mean, our generation and the younger one, the change has to start from us. You don't have to wait for them to, because I think that's always been the mistake. Like the younger generation have to say our time is gone. No, our time is still here. Because by the time you go to Africa, you still find out the people that are in leadership or the presidents, they are this older generation. So if we are waiting for the older generations to leave, then we are saying that also what we're saying is that we want to abdicate responsibility. So these people want to fix it. We do what we want to do, and they should fix it. And by the time they see the younger generation see that the older generation is actually not making any move to make change in the country, why should they do it? Because you will realize you see the younger generations, they be like, by the time I get there, me too, I'm going to reach my pocket, take my own and go, take my share and go. Because that's what they've seen. Right. There's nobody showing them the example that governance, politics, leadership is to serve. And that's the problem we've been having in Africa. It's about service, and that's what you see in Europe. For example, one of the ex-presidents of France, Nicolas Sarkozy, is going to jail. Yes, he's going to jail because of election fraud. Now in Africa, you cannot, even if you're an ex-president, you're untouchable because they feel, oh, he's an elder statesman. No matter whatever you've done in your time of governance or whatever you do later on, is forgiving. Nothing will happen to you. There's no consequences for anything. There's no retribution. So we as Africans, we have got to look at ourselves very, very clearly. And I don't know who is going to start sounding alarm bells to them. We've got to make things different. And people want to go into politics to make a change, but by the time you see that you are one of them ones that want to come and bring about radical change, they don't want you in there.
And that's one of the challenges, because when you look at countries, Europe especially, the United States, you have Africans at the top of almost all the sectors, and they're doing well. So that means we've got the human resources as well. We've got intelligence. We've got people that are very knowledgeable. But then it seems that the environment back in Africa, to an extent, is discouraging people or limiting people on what they could actually do to help their own community. But then it can't be like that for life, because we know that some of the countries we're talking about today, including where we are now in the United Kingdom, they've had their own rough times as well. They've had voices from the community, even from Paisley here, because in those days, they said Paisley used to be a radical political space that even down south, they will ensure that they deal with Paisley politicians so that they can have their way. So they've had their own time as well. And it's just to say that every nation have their rough times, but they grow out of it, which is what is quite concerning when it comes to Africa now, where it seems that we are not growing out of our mess. You know, despite the fact that we have people that are able, people that are knowledgeable, people that are intelligent, and we also have the resources to fund a sort of a social a social shift, you know, in the way we see ourselves as human beings.
What is happening is that Europe wealth is based on African resources.
Yes.
If anyone wanting to break that system will die. Not, I'm sure that most of the president or the leaders, when they come into power, some of them they come with good intentions, but then the system is such they can't really break they can't break it, and they just have to kind of live with it, play.
Give their own time,
Yes.
earn their own money.
Exactly. This is all that is left to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a system.
Yeah, but there seems to be something that is flowing now across Africa. Although most people would say that it's not that desirable. We have military coup happening now. We've had it in Guinea, we've had it in Mali. The latest one is in Sudan, which is right on. And all these military, you know, that are taking over are actually saying that the politicians are corrupt. They've not been able to defend or protect the people. Also, as we see the rise of terrorist activities across Africa. However, people are also thinking that with the military, at least the politicians, you can still talk and shout at them. But with the military, which they have to rule with the barrels of the gun, that it might not be better. But some people are saying that, I mean, if the military gets there, probably that's the option that Africa has to actually send the whole politicians into the gulag, because they could then be stopped from ever participating in politics. So do you think that will ever work?
I still believe that the West somewhere has,
Even with the military?
yeah, they have their finger. They want to change things in a way because they've noticed that the population is getting exhausted and tired. They want to bring like a bit of freshness, you know, so to distract people, but
To let people feel that there's a change there.
like a breather, but there is no change. We still have this waste system behind everything that is happening in Africa. That's my feeling.
Okay, well, what's your view about this?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, but we're talking about the coups that are happening in Africa. Do you think that's like becoming like a solution?
I don't think I think it's about leadership, because if you look at, I mean, China was able to make a turn, and about 40 or 30 years ago, China wasn't where it is at the moment. But now China is about second most powerful country in the whole of the world, and they made a turn. It was just about some people that got into power, and they thought, you know what, we need to get right for this country, and they began to do things. They still have their political system is the communist political system. It's not democracy that is being preached to us by Europe or by Western North America. No, and they will make us believe that that's the only way to go. Communists, you've got people that came into power with their own socio-political style, and they're making things work. So it's about people wanting, it's not about the coup as well, because we used to have coup in Nigeria, I mean in Africa, and it's still going, still the case. We have military government, they never did anything. Even we came into democracy, many democratic countries, we still not done anything, nothing has changed. So going back to military as well, it didn't work in the past. What makes us think it's gonna work now? It's the people that have got to come into power and say, you know what, we have people that have this vision of where they want to take their country, and they start looking at getting the politics right, getting the legal system right, getting the economy right, getting many things, education, healthcare, and everything, getting everything right. So it's just about bringing the right set of people that that have the vision to take the country to where it's supposed to be. And that's all for same for every African country.
Right. So, all said and done, the responsibility for Africa to get to where it should be is right on Africa. Thank you very much. I think somebody is already saying well done to all of you there. And of course, this is where we're starting. Okay. Right. So, just thanking, this is Ms. Regine of the School of African Cultures. That is the main organizer, but then we have other supporting organization as well, and the Paisley First.
Action for
Cultural
cultural and ethics.
Okay, so and thank you very much for taking the time.
Oh, by the way, we
Yes.
have other countries because I don't want them to feel like we didn't touch on
Cover
those
all of
countries
them,
they
yes.
cover because they are way down there and it seems like time is running because of time. But we also had countries like millions of countries in Africa, Zimbabwe.
Yes, we've got Zimbabwe.
We have Zimbabwe. We got, I mean, some other countries. 11.
Yes, we started with 11, yes. And so thank you very much for taking us round. And of course, that's Olu. He came all the way from London. Thank you very much for, for joining us, and of course, for also speaking on what you think about Africa and how Africa to get away from the trash we are in at the moment. So thank you very much. And of course, Nathan
The young people of School of African
is
Cultures.
also a member of the School of African Cultures. Thank you for coming around, and you just say bye to people and ask other people to join the School of African Cultures.
Why do you think that people should join the School of African Cultures?
Join African School of Cultures to teach you about Africa.
Right. That they teach you about Africa, which is great. So for everyone that have joined us today, thank you so much. We'll be signing out from here, and we're hoping that you join us tomorrow. Obviously, tomorrow I'll be having Alagba Femi Odedeyi, and he will be talking more about the Yoruba referendum push and agitation. So until then, you stay safe and enjoy the rest of the weekend.